And these things all do things. If you ever want to play with them and throw up lower thirds and stuff, it all does that stuff. Okay. If you want to play while we're doing it, I'm just going to tell Jimmy that he can find the link on our Google Plus page.
I'm tired. It's not good for Informe. Wake up. Did you play ball at the rec on Monday night? No.
People playing?
No, I just didn't know if you just went over and played ball. Sometimes you go over and play before we play, right?
Sometimes I go work out.
Oh, okay.
I don't start a lot.
They'll come down and tell us if they can't hear us and stuff.
All right. How many of these were you using?
Let's just talk Facebook and Twitter, and then we'll give JT some links later. But let me.
What are you talking? What? How long is this going to be?
Not very long. Well, we'll see. You never know with us. So.
That's true.
Depends if I get on a rant after a while.
You need infographic of the week, otherwise it's not Informe.
What was that?
It's very pretty. Did you take that?
Yes, it's right across from Chris's there.
Yeah.
Changed us. Every once in a while, it just doesn't like to remember my Informe logo.
All right, that look all right back there?
Mm-hmm. Dustin scoot out just like an inch.
Okay. There?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll start with Facebook, and we'll just talk Facebook F8. Whether it was relevant. Did you watch any of the?
I tried to watch a Twitter live stream for a little bit, but I was trying to do other things at the same time. If it would have been like a live feed or something, I would have listened to it.
I think there was a live. There was a live.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Facebook f8.facebooklive.com.
I was just trying to follow it on National.
Yeah. F8.
You're not.
Huh? It's not streaming?
It says we'll begin shortly or something.
Did we click start to tell us we're streaming?
It says it's live.
Did you click on when you click the play, it just says that it has the little black. I'll check too.
Here, I'm dropping this in the Informe.
All right.
For April 24th. I'm dropping a link in the April 24th.
All right.
Thing for the.
Or we just created a new one here too. No, I'll go ahead and create. So you'll see a duplicate, and I'll drag it over, and then I'll change it to the 30th.
And so it's right there at the bottom in the middle.
Okay.
This is super relevant one. It's
10 Facebook rules.
10 Facebook rules that every business owner or business needs to know before posting. I've been sort of pseudo asked about what it would look like for me to do cerulean social media. They don't want to pay for it though. That's kind of exciting. Like, It would look awesome, I think.
You know, I'd be interested.
Still not working.
This is
for James. James says still not
working. All right, I didn't go to Google Plus. Let me see. It was working for me. It says it's live. And I'm getting it. That's definitely us.
Tell them to do a hard refresh.
Yeah, because that's us.
That's really delayed though, right?
Well, it's always going to be really pretty delayed.
I was going to say, I don't think I'm turning backwards.
Are you backwards?
No, it's actually, it's correct.
Yeah, it says, I just looked it up and it said something about self-mirroring.
Yeah.
Self-preview is mirrored.
But it's correct on what I'm viewing right now.
But I don't know how to change that.
Yeah, there probably is a way, but we can figure that out another time. But I'm getting a stream. Let's do something. I'm gonna do something. See how far off it is. So at 4:45 is when I did that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how long. It could take a while.
Could be a while.
Because it was impossible to tell.
It's been a while. So Jimmy could literally just be
It could be that far
that far
behind.
behind. I don't know. I doubt it, but
I could go over and see make sure he clicks on. The quality's not terrible. This is a little washed out. Let's see if you can. Oh, right there. So it was probably 30 seconds behind. That's not terrible.
bad.
But like you wouldn't want to live chat through that. But if somebody tweets at us or something like that, you could respond
too far off.
30 seconds later.
Yeah. I need to find.
Okay, so I'm getting it. I'm gonna go tell him, then I'll get off the.
I asked him to
Are
do
you?
a share command R. He said, yeah, he still keeps refreshing it, but he's not.
Okay, I'll go see if I can help him, and then.
I have a crown.
I
It's
was
a very.
hoping that you guys would see.
Yes, we see it. All
Oh
right.
no!
You have all the cool features of things that we can do on Google Hangouts.
It's the best.
All right, I'm gonna close that down. I'm gonna go help him, and then we're just gonna wing it like we do sometimes.
That's what we usually do,
Yeah,
isn't
I
it?
know.
At least that's what I do.
I'm winging it today. I may talk about EEI.
Don't do that. Social package breakdown edited. Bang. Add this comment. Oh, I'm tired.
Get up.
We can do this thing now. We can do our thing. My thing. Probably shouldn't whistle since we're live. Someone's just all of a sudden gonna get a piercing whistle through there. Jimmy just sent me an email and said stop whistling.
All right. So I got it. He clicked because I had done a test earlier, and he clicked on the test and he wasn't watching, which I hadn't gone back in, and Google keeps it on the stream, and so you're just clicking on the wrong one.
That makes sense.
So, okay.
I was whistling while sitting here. Jimmy sent me an email and said stop whistling
Yes.
because apparently that doesn't sound very nice coming through computer speakers.
All right. Well, Jimmy, how are you guys doing? All right. Live tweeting, and they should be
Ooh,
telling us.
live tweeting.
I don't know. I told him he could live tweet while he was watching the live stream.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
We're just gonna roll with it, and if we need to, we'll make him edit it out later. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Back to Informe. April 30th, last day of April.
It's going to be May.
And May Day tomorrow.
Start over.
You
We're
know.
starting over. We're editing.
Welcome to Back to.
Yeah, I know. It's casual day.
Those guys watching the live stream.
All right, so this is JT. We finally have a technical director in here who's going to make us look even better. So 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Informe, and we're going to talk social media. It's a good week to talk social media.
It
Big
is.
news, lots of social media.
Yeah,
news.
lots of social media news. Some that seems a little disappointing for small business. Not a lot of small business news, but some really good, useful things we're going to bring it to you.
Yeah. Let's start with a story that's a little bit social media related, but it's a post you posted yesterday on the PayPro Media.
All right.
So big story this week has definitely been what's happening with the Los Angeles Clippers
Yeah.
with their owner, the comments that he made. And you made a comment. You said, should small businesses
Yeah.
engage in that conversation? Because it was trending all over the place.
Mhm.
And one of the things we suggest is try to jump in on conversations that are trending, and people are, because they're going to click on those hashtags on Facebook and Twitter. And
You might get some
yeah,
more exposure.
yeah, you might get some exposure. But when
Yeah.
it's controversial like that,
Yeah.
and you're a clothing sales from, Paducah, Wisconsin. I like choosing random places. I don't think that place exists. But is it relevant? And is there a downside to jumping into the conversation and even sharing a
Yeah.
viewpoint?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we all came out against it.
Yeah.
I think any of us could say, yes, what he said was wrong.
Yep.
But then I noticed some companies and some brands jumping in farther and saying, and then brands pulling their support of the Clippers. I don't know, what's your take?
You know what? We tell you to jump on these things. Don't jump on controversial things. If you're going to, I'm going to say do it with caution. Be very, very careful what you say, because it's already controversial enough. You don't need a situation on your hands where you're taking a stance against or for the controversial statement, and then all of a sudden finding yourself with a ton of backlash.
Yeah.
It really has to be well thought out and considered. The big example that I think of is when we had the shooting at Aurora happened. There was a clothing company jumped on and said, "Oh, the hashtag Aurora is trending. It must be about our Aurora style dress." And instantly, everybody hated those people because they were unsensitive, not being sensitive to the situation, not caring it was all about themselves, and not paying attention to what was actually happening. If you're going to jump onto something like that, make sure you know, one, what the story is actually about, and two, be really thoughtful in what you're going to say. Don't make that mistake where it's not about you, it's about people who are dying and a tragedy that happened in our country. So make sure you've got to be on your guard on those. You have to be.
Well, to me, a litmus test might be, am I trying to sell something or am I just trying to care? And if I say I'm trying to care, so I'm going to stand up and say, look, what Donald Sterling said was wrong, and no one should say that, and there should be consequences for that. And you might say some type of statement. Or in the case of a shooting or a catastrophe, our hearts and our prayers are with those people that are.
Absolutely.
But when you go out and you start trying to jump in and suddenly you're putting a link to selling whatever you sell online, or hey, come get our free Doritos tonight.
Right.
That may be something where you jump over, and you have to be sensitive to that. Now, when you're tweeting versus being your brand, and we talk to this sometimes, tweeting, Facebooking, whatever, as your brand versus doing it as your personal self and your personal perspective. When something like this happens, there's all kinds of controversy, and I saw people jumping out there. There's a local guy who I follow on Twitter that was, saying, "I don't understand why this is a big deal. He should have this opportunity to have free speech. We can just not go to his, games."
Sure.
Has that viewpoint, but he also represents a local brand because he works for a local company, and I watched that, and he was doing it on his personal account, but I knew where he works and I know who he works for.
Right.
What should we say about that type of topic when those controversial things are happening?
Yeah, it's again, use caution and be smart about it. Don't make rash decisions. It's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's okay to share your personal opinion on things. That's fine. That's exactly what he was saying. You have free speech to do that. But when you are that closely knit or connected to a brand, it might just be a good idea not to get involved, because you could you could help your brand, but you could damage your brand just because if you're the owner. Well, we did that a couple shows ago. We did a cupcake company.
Yeah.
And the lady, I don't remember her name, but she was the brand of the cupcake business.
Yeah.
People knew her. People went to get her cupcakes because she was known in the community. If she does something like that, if she says something controversial, she could see a serious loss in business, because she's so personally connected to her brand. So if you're like that, probably you are, being a small business owner. Be real careful. I don't even know if I would get into those waters just for the sake of protecting my brand identity.
One last thing on this subject that I find intriguing. Let's say you are putting together a social media campaign, and you have a whole plan. You've been working on it for weeks. You're going to roll it out. Maybe it's omni-channel. It's going to be all kinds of things. And when you're planning on doing all this stuff, and suddenly all the news is coming down about Donald Sterling, and it's Saturday night, or you're getting ready to roll things out,
Do you how big of a story does it have to be that you're going to push off and wait on launching something because you realize that news cycles are going to be inundated by something else?
Yeah.
And how do you judge that, especially on the social media
Absolutely. Obviously, there's no one size fits all. You know, I'm not going to say something here that's going to be so profound and it's going to change everybody's life because every situation is different. Something like this that obviously is huge in California and huge on the West Coast and has really been huge across the United States. But I'm sure that concentration of the news in California and LA, if you're an LA small business, definitely hold it off. If you're an East Coast small business and you're in a small town who maybe doesn't pay as much attention to the national news, you kind of got a delicate balance there. I think you're smart to delay it if you don't. Here's what I'm going to say. If you have a really good connection with your social community and you have a community who's hot for what you do and they share and they're involved and they're engaged, forget whatever's going on in the news and just launch it because those people care about what you're doing.
Right.
If you're struggling to find that connection and you're trying to find that traffic and trying to find that engagement, I'd give it some time because all you're going to do, all that's happening is people are going to be distracted from what you're trying to get in front of them.
And here's an example that was in my mind about this. When Donald Sterling, when all this was happening in Los Angeles, and Michael Jordan came out and made a statement negative about Donald Sterling and about the comics and what should happen. And everybody was shocked because Michael Jordan is known as being the brand of Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And when you ask him to make a comment about anything social or anything that someone might disagree with him on, he rarely did.
Yeah.
And he jumped in on this, and this was important to him. But that meant it was obviously going to have some impact on his brand.
Absolutely.
So I think sometimes you have to choose your shots as a brand, and you have to decide how active you're going to be. None of us are surprised when Apple and Google jump into a lot of social conversations.
Yeah.
All of us were shocked when Michael Jordan and Jordan Brand jumped into a social conversation. He didn't do it on social media. Wouldn't we all love to have Michael Jordan on Twitter? That would rock. Come on, MJ, get out there. Get a MJ23 verified. I would love to see that. But to me, it was an interesting conversation because so much of what we do on social media is tied to what other people are doing. And so if everybody's out there spending time on Facebook and Twitter and talking about a subject that's different than us, we have to decide they only have each person's only going to tweet a certain amount of times a day. And if they've already taken up 10 of them talking about this other subject that's going on, that's a major subject and a major story, then I would probably be a little slower to jump in and think about it. Just because what I realize, what I want to do through social media is get other people to talk about me. And they have a limited amount of time. They're talking about something else all this time. We have to get a message. But all this, we're on Informe. If you're watching this live right now, we record this either on Wednesday or Thursday, and we tweet it out. We put it out on Facebook and put a link up there, and we're starting to play with how we get this out live. And we want you watching and interacting with us, and we'd love to have you tweet at us at Salcha, or at NK Manahan, or at
Dustin Hickle.
And you could tweet at us. You could probably comment on Facebook, and we might even we have people that are outside of this room. JT's in here live with us right now. He's interacting with us. Well, not really interacting. He's currently doing something else. We're not sure what he's doing over there, but he'll keep us on our toes. And Jimmy and some other guys are watching live, and they'll make sure we know what's going on. So as we move on, we're going to stop the cameras because we're just going to start a new 10-minute segment because we record this in 10-minute segments, and we're not quite to 10 minutes, but we'll just start. And we're going to talk in just a moment about Facebook. Facebook F8.
Absolutely. So hang in tight. We'll be back in just a couple seconds, and you're going to see us go from people to robots. We talk about that every time. But I feel like we're way better about just being people and talking.
Well, and the thing was, like, I didn't tell Dustin at all what I was going to ask him any questions I was going to start with. And he did a good job jumping right in there.
Fielded him. Kind of caught him.
You never know what I might do. All right. In 3, 2, 1. So it's Donald Sterling. What's interesting to me, stories like this, is it dominates the conversation for quite a while.
Yeah.
And what I noticed today was there was a big event in the social media world, and it didn't get a lot of press to me.
Yeah.
The first time since 2010, Facebook comes out and does a developer conference, F8. They announced it several months ago, and April 30th, they're in, I think they're in Marin, I'm not sure where they are, somewhere in the Bay Area. Big conference, lots of developers there. Mark Zuckerberg's doing the keynote, and I don't feel like there was a lot of buzz today. And I kind of wondered how much of that is hangover, because what was getting buzz today was the detective from Who Framed Roger Rabbit dying, which that was a big subject, but I didn't actually know his name. Hoskins was his last name, which I remember the last name. Yeah, it was just interesting because Facebook, have they lost a little strength? Did they not have something exciting to notice? Was this focused at people that weren't mainstream, so you and I don't even get excited about it?
I think because it's the FA conference and that's Facebook's developer conference. It's not geared towards you and I. It's not geared towards the small business owner. It's not really geared towards any business owner. It's geared towards people who can build apps and can develop on the Facebook platform.
Yeah.
So I have no skills in that area. I know a lot of really talented people who do. But for me, I'm a marketer, so I'm not going to pay a lot of attention to what's going on because the lead up to it has been saying it's just going to be app development stuff. It's going to be cool for those people, but for just the average, Joe Schmo, nobody cares because we don't have those skills. So we might see some of the things as a result of this conference. We might see a lot of really new cool features that they rolled out today that we might start to see integrated into our daily lives. But as far as creating buzz, it wasn't for us.
Yeah. Now, Facebook is obviously going mobile, and the majority of what they were focusing on today was mobile. And I have not had a chance to watch the keynote. I was out of the office. It was happening at roughly 1 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock West or Coast Pacific time, and I was not available to sit down and watch it. So all I've gotten at this point, and we're a couple hours removed from it, is a little bit of coverage I was able to find. And what I was surprised was when I was going to some of the major sites I usually go to, it wasn't grabbing the big headlines. The first headline I saw was anonymous check-in or anonymous login.
Yeah.
And I was like, what in the world? How is that a big story? What is anonymous login?
Well, from what I understand, and I'm similar to you, I didn't have a chance to watch the keynote actually myself, but from what I understand from some live tweeting that I was watching, basically when you go to various websites and you can log in with Facebook, you're going to be able to do it anonymously, so you're not giving that app all of your personal information that's stored on Facebook until you're ready. At some point you can change that. Once you've learned to trust the app, once you believe in what it does, then you can change those features. But I think Facebook is trying to give people that sort of comfort to use the Facebook platform to log in without feeling like you're giving away all your information.
And I have that fear sometimes. In fact, a lot of times I log in because I have enough information, and I don't have like crazy personal information on Facebook. They have enough information. They have pictures of my kids. There are certain things I don't want everyone to have access to. And when I see that Facebook Connect or log in with Facebook, if there's another option, I choose it. In this case, what they're saying with their new privacy settings is, in fact, I'll read the quote. This is from a Recode article, but they're quoting Zuckerberg. It lets you try apps without fear.
Yep.
And so I like that.
Yeah.
And what they're saying, I think at this point, no matter what, they got a hold of your address, they got a hold of your real name, and in most cases they could post something on it, and you had a hard time. You could turn it so no one could see the posts, but you couldn't keep it so they couldn't post if they wanted that as part of their login.
Yep.
This allows you to be in control and the user to be in control. We'll see how people use it, but I think here's Facebook is becoming less about what you and I can share on it, and more of what we can do on it. It seems to be, which is an interesting, conundrum for us as marketers. Because will this change how people use it? Will it change the data we can get from it? And how does that change the advertising, which was the next big announcement? Because they have, I want to make sure I get the name right, the new Facebook Audience Network.
Yeah.
The FAN, as we like to.
You know what? You're going to have to tell me all about that because I know nothing about it.
Well, let's hope that I can figure out something. No, so luckily this kind of was buzzed out. It's been going around for a little while. And basically what this is what you see in Google Ads, where you're on a third-party site and Google is syndicating the ads, and that cookie is making it so from site to site to site, that information is being carried by your Google network. And so you might see the same ad on 4 different sites because it's targeting what is on your computer and what they know about it.
Right.
Facebook is saying we're going to do the same thing. You don't have to. You can advertise on the Facebook site. You can do. We're used to them. Whether it's the pictures on the side or the promoted posts or whatever those are. We're getting more and more used to that. But then we're also going to be able to see ads that are on, banner ads on other sites or across mobile apps, which is a big thing, that are connected to the Facebook ad network. And so as they called it, the Facebook Audience Network. And so I'm still learning a little bit about this.
Now, do you think that adds value to the small business who's looking to do advertising and looking for ways to, plug in and get to the demographic information of Facebook?
Sure, absolutely. Facebook has such a, really, I think, a very impressive ad network in the way that they can drill down to find target audience and specific audiences. And so if you can use that capability and that tool that they have across different platforms, it can only help, right?
Yep.
I mean, it can only help.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you can do. So, yeah, that sounds super helpful. Sounds like it'd be really, really neat.
Is it better than Google? I mean,
No.
obviously we haven't seen it yet,
Right.
but if Facebook can fully implement it, use all the information that they have, do you think they can are they capable of producing a product that's better than Google and doing these type of ads?
I think that they can drill down to specific people and specific audiences better than Google. I don't know if they'll ever do quite as well as far as like cookie tracking as Google. That's my take on it. I visit TaylorMade Golf. I go to any other site. I see TaylorMade products everywhere,
Yeah.
which is why Google is so powerful. If I'm part of a target market for, a small diner, and I visit them on Facebook and I like them on Facebook, and all of a sudden I'm in an app and I see an ad for it, that could be really powerful.
Yeah.
I can absolutely see how it's going to be really powerful. I don't know if they'll be as good as Google, because I'm betting that Google will adapt to that.
Let's choose one of your clients that you work for, Nick's Kitchen, and let's say people go to their Facebook page, and then they're cruising around the internet and they're looking at buying some clothes, and then they're reading on CNN.com, and they're cruising around, and suddenly they see another ad for Nick's Kitchen because they like them on Facebook.
Sure.
What intrigues me about that is Google at this point doesn't have that likability. Hey, I like these. You can circle up, as we like to say, on a Google Plus page. However, they don't really do a lot with that information. Facebook, if you go to Nick's Kitchen all the time in Huntington, Indiana, home of the home tenderloin, we love you, Jean Ann, you know that you like that place. And it might be a little bit of a reminder that, hey, and maybe just like the contextualize, hey, your friends like this. I don't know if they can do that.
And that's where it be really powerful.
They may be able to get a little bit stronger. Now, will they do it better than Google? I don't know. But it gives us one more player, and here's what I hope. I hope it drives prices down. Because when Facebook has the omnipresence across all the platforms, when they're on the mobile ads, when they're in the apps, just like Google already is, Apple's playing on the iOS side and doing all the ad things there. Plus you have Yahoo doing major stuff, Yahoo connected with Bing. There's several platforms that you can do it, plus a dozen that I'm not mentioning.
Smaller ones.
All this goes in, and Facebook comes in. If they can be competitive and make everyone be competitive on price, they all want to make their money, but it gets better for the small business because we can jump in, and it doesn't just have to be the giant brand. So I think what Facebook does is you can spend $10 a day and make a difference sometimes for a small business on Facebook ads. You can't always do that on Google and Google Ads and Google Sense and all the things that go across the board. So if Facebook can get competitive at this, and we can get some banner ads, and you can get focused, and you can make ads in apps. What I love about the idea is somebody creates an app, and I can, if they continually are using the Spotify app, and I can use the little advertisements only when they're in this area code, because we know geolocated where they are, because the phone actually says, you're right here, and you're only 3 blocks away. There's some interesting ways that we can play with this if the price can get down, and we don't have to jump in at the $30,000 per impression mark.
And that's absolutely where Facebook has an advantage, because they know so much information about us, what we like, where we are based on GPS, the people that we are connected with. It's really powerful. It could be really cool. It could be really, really cool.
Could be great. I think the general feel here is nothing revolutionary. There's a lot of new app development. Facebook's been buying. Obviously, they are focused on mobile. The rumor was, and I haven't seen that yet, and I was just double checking because I don't like to say things live on the internet that may not be true, but the rumor was that there would be some new apps that were Facebook apps, like the paper app, and I haven't seen that yet. Now, if anybody's out there and you want to tweet us and it's come out, it may come out. It is not over yet. Facebook talks mobile payment product. That was the new thing that they're going to launch in September. They're going to allow mobile payments through them. This is certainly something I was talking with Ethan, one of our content team. Mobile payments, everybody wants to get in on the game. Apple's wanting to get in on the game. Everybody's wanting to figure out how to do this. Full disclosure, that's part of what our parent company, and we're certainly part of that. Everybody wants to be part of the payments and get that little percentage of that processing payment. And Facebook looks like they're going to jump into the play. I don't know much about it.
I think that makes a lot of sense if you're a big player like Facebook, and I've heard rumors of e-commerce coming to
Yeah.
Facebook really, really powerfully. Some companies already have developed apps and things to do that on Facebook. Why not, if you're Facebook, why not make that little percentage off of the processing and get involved in that world rather than having some third party do it?
Right.
So makes a lot of sense for them. I think Facebook, are they dead?
Oh no, Facebook is so relevant and so, day to day they just have so many users. And we'll talk about this here as we transition into Twitter.
Yeah.
Because what we're learning is Facebook has jumped out so far in the lead worldwide with having so many active users and people that are daily, weekly, monthly using it.
Yep.
And what investors get scared about is Twitter slows down in their growth, yet they're still at record highs and at 200 and I don't have the number, 55 million regular monthly active users. That's an amazing number still. Yeah. But Facebook has skewed our view of numbers on how many people, because their numbers are so big.
Billion.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. So certainly we have to think about that. And we'll take a quick break here and go 10 minutes. I don't know where we're at, but.
Sweet. So again, stopping the cameras, starting the cameras again if you're watching live. Yeah, this Twitter, it's been pretty big on Twitter this week. Lots of really neat stuff.
Yeah, I should be pulling TweetDeck up here. But yeah, if you have any guys have any questions or anything that's going on, we'll.
I don't have any Twitter notifications on my phone, so.
We have some new followers. So Market Sharks, if you're out there watching us, thanks for following us. Probably not watching us. I don't even know we've tweeted. I was thinking I could retweet Informe Live happening here. Oh, they didn't put you in there.
Just that's okay.
In. Tweet at NK Manahan or Solcha. How rude of them.
I'm just the little social media.
You're just the director of the social media over here. What in the world? All right. 3. JT's like, why are we listening to this? JT, make us look pretty over there in the live stream. Play with that and see if we can figure out how to make that even better. That was getting. I think there's ways to do lower thirds and even how to do, like put our NK Manahan and stuff when we're doing, so they could actually see what we're doing. If you're out there live, tweet at us. Just tell me you're there. We just want to know. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's transition fully to Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay, Twitter, 255 million users. We talked about that. I love Twitter. We all know that that's my choice. I follow it. I'm an in-stream user of Twitter. That's how I get all my news and interact. And I interact more and more, and I kind of go, feast or famine in that. Yeah. But you can count that if you guys like Shark Tank, you can count on Friday nights at Solcha on the Twitter. Yep. That's me, with 150 tweets showing up there. But
it's powerful.
What we're interested in is Twitter. What's their relevance? Because all the investors got scared to death. They went to a record low, literally below their IPO on their price. And I think they've rebounded a little bit today.
Yeah.
I'm not watching it live right now. But what do we think about that? Because investors are like, hey, you're not making any money yet. Your ad revenue, even though they beat projections, which is always about beat the street, because they see their curve seems to be slowing down.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You know what? We've got this Business Insider article that actually has a graph on it somewhere, but it's showing a really, really steep decline in new users per quarter. I think it's broken down into. So it makes sense for investors to be nervous. As a business, that looks scary. That looks like, oh man, we're starting to just lose everything that we're trying to work towards. But they also grew incredibly rapidly at the beginning. And like you said, our ideas of growth are skewed because of Facebook.
Yeah.
I think that if I was buying stocks right now, I wouldn't be afraid to invest in Twitter. This is not legal advice. So I think that Twitter is obviously going to rebound. They're so powerful. They've got so many intelligent and really brilliant minds over there running it. They're not just going to continue to sink. That stock price, I think, will go back up, and they're going to develop and turn out some really cool stuff that's going to make those investors pretty happy.
They've fully played and jumped in and said, hey, TV's where we're going to be at. And I think media, what they're doing with even movies and everything, the hashtags and how they're trying to connect themselves directly to your experience and being that second screen of what's going on and dominating that second screen. I certainly believe they're in there. They're becoming, I think what happened was, I would say marketers kind of ruined Twitter for a little while there, because suddenly we became so focused. That article that we talked about last week, or it was actually a slide share, where, numbers became all about how many followers and likes you have.
Yep.
And that became the driving, schematic of shows our impact.
Yep.
And that doesn't really matter. In fact, Twitter was really easy to fake that.
Mhm.
And you could go to 1 million sites and pay $5 and get 15,000 followers.
Absolutely.
And suddenly your numbers are skewed and your engagement is minimal.
Right.
And then your ROI at the end, whether it's sales or services or people that are going to your website or however you're trying to measure it, whether you're just trying to get more people to know about your cause or you're trying to sell more widgets, you're not having that impact because you're going to this large audience that no one's listening to you.
Right.
So I think what's going to have to happen with Twitter is we're going to have to come back and say, how do you really use it?
Mhm.
And I think customer service is its number one
Absolutely.
goal. I think the opportunity to really engage and answer questions in a short format, because what I love about Twitter is people can't BS me. Because they can't spend a lot of time, because in 140 characters, or even if you use 2 to 3 tweets, you have to really get down to the core of the message.
Yep.
Because if you go beyond that, I'm not going to listen to you and you're out.
Yeah.
And
You've wasted my time.
right. And so unfollow or put you in a list that I'm not in there because I don't want you to know I'm not following you.
Yeah.
And that's my way now. I have a lot of unpublished lists you don't know about. But what does this mean for a small business? As the ads continue the new ad platform. In fact, I used one this week, and I introduced you to a new app. They have now in the mobile, in-app ads where you can download the app with one click, basically.
Yep.
I saw Perch, which was a new app, which I really intrigued at in terms of playing with it. But I got it because it was an ad in the middle of my Twitter stream on my app on my phone that literally said, "Hey, download this. It's relevant for small business."
Yeah.
And that was great. And I downloaded it. I liked it.
Because it's right down your alley. They've got it narrowed down. They got it right to the correct people.
Yeah. And so if they become more and more willing to help us find specific things and navigate to quick, interesting. This was an app download, which I was glad for. But what if they say, "Hey, you're close to this place"?
Yeah.
Then it's really relevant for the small business, for the restaurant, for the retail place, to be able to jump in stream and not annoy someone too much at 140 characters. That's what I love about it. Because Facebook, people have liked and shared so many things that Facebook chooses what you see, and you have to pay big dollars to get in front of their eyes. And then you're probably tuned out because so many people are paying to be in those eyes.
Right.
And that's not fully true. And there's some great ways to use Facebook ads, and we'll have future shows about how to write ads and things like that.
Yeah.
But Twitter, to me, I'm really high on it. Am I wrong?
You know what? I don't think you're wrong at all. I think Twitter obviously is doing something right.
Yeah.
Investors might be a little shied away, but I think they're very clearly doing something right in that small example that you gave. You're an in-stream user. You use it for everything. So you're just going through your stream, and boom, there's an app that's relevant to you.
Yep.
How much more relevant of a case study do you need? They are going down the right path. They're going down the right direction. And if they can start to use your mobile device's GPS in such a way to say, "Hey, you're close to Nick's Kitchen." Again, another shout out to one of our clients down there in Huntington, Indiana. And I say, "You know what? I am close there. I should stop in and get a sandwich."
Yep.
How that is so powerful. And then, like you said, it's more powerful than Facebook, because at Facebook, yes, you can do that. But if you're really geolocating it to Twitter power users, people who use it and stream that way, you really can't lose.
Now, let's throw this out here.
Mm-hmm.
What I've noticed with some of our clients who are very successful on Facebook is they struggle on Twitter.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Have any ideas?
I think a lot of it has to do with demographic. I think a lot of it has to do with use case. I think one of our more powerful Facebook pages at Paper Media, one of the clients that we manage, struggles mightily on Twitter. Their demographic that they're going after, that they're trying to target, skews a lot older. They also struggle, I think, because of the use case of Twitter in general in our area, because our area tends to also skew a little bit older, and I think we're getting a little bit more tech savvy, and we're starting to see more people use Twitter, and we're starting to see some of those things. But I think that the biggest reason that most small businesses, at least from what I can tell, struggle with is that they don't have a plan specifically for Twitter and specifically for Facebook. It's kind of a cross-platform. This worked on Facebook, it should work on Twitter, but it doesn't.
Right.
Twitter users look for very different things. Twitter users want something short, no BS, just give me the point, give me something free, give me whatever that's going to get my attention, and it needs to be quick. And on Facebook, you have a little bit more time. You have a chance to capture somebody with an image a little bit longer, maybe.
Yeah.
They're not scrolling through the feed as fast. So, yeah, you're going to see that going back and forth. But I think the major key in fixing that is to make sure you have a specific strategy and plan for Twitter all by itself.
Right. Here, and I wonder this, is Facebook allows brands to become a little less, a little more billboardish and less of a person. So there's still more of a business. Twitter, if you want to use it well, your brand has to become a person. You have to be interactive. You have to have a conversation.
You have to be
even
smart.
though you're doing, even though you're doing it at 140 characters or less, depending on how long you're tweeting and mentioning someone and how long their name is, you have to actually be person to person, human to human.
Yep.
And we forget that when we get on Twitter, and we try to act like we do on Facebook.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone, come get my sandwich today. And that's, well, the problem is that doesn't work on Twitter. And we're going to have to rethink that a little bit. Now, don't jump in when all these investors are saying the demise of Twitter is near.
Yeah.
The fact is there's money to be made.
Yep.
They're making maybe, one of the things that's happening is they're saying, hey, look, per view, per user, they're making less money than they were quarter to quarter, even though their profits went up. And that's what made people scared. I think that's really just a correction of their system.
Yeah.
And I think what's going to happen is that if they're smart, and I believe they are,
Absolutely.
They're going to figure out how to monetize more and more because they have a conversation that no one else has that's going on. And there are people that are such avid users of Twitter and get all their information from Twitter. The brands just have to figure out how to do that, and they'll figure out how to sell that to the brands.
Absolutely.
And I think we'll see that more and more. That's tastefully done.
Yeah.
Other last comments on Twitter?
I'm going to take that tip that you're using on Twitter about being personal and being a person, that person to person kind of a feel, and take it to Instagram too.
Yeah.
Because we got to do a stop. Hold on. We got
All right.
our director told us to stop. We're going to take a cut. We're going to come back into it.
Yep. All right. If you guys are live out there,
Hey, you got 3 messages on Salcha. I didn't get any.
Jordan Gillette said something to us. Hey, Jordan, are you watching out there? I don't know if you are. You just simply are tweeting around about us. Now, Jordan was tweeting my personal Twitter. Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate that. All right.
Let's do it.
You can do the transition.
Yeah, I'll do the transition.
Yep.
I'll go to that camera. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take the tip that you were just talking about and being human to human and actually transition it to Instagram because it's super powerful on Instagram too. That's exactly the sort of a voice and foundation kind of that you have to create on Instagram. Now, Instagram gives you the same sort of capability that Facebook does, being all visual. But if people see your picture and they're intrigued by your picture, they want to probably read that caption too. And you want to have that short, witty, quick, to the point, personal, human kind of interaction, human feel to your description of your picture. That's one of the reasons why a lot of the people that I follow on Instagram that I love to follow them so much. It's so much fun to follow a local pub here in town, and a place, Chevrolet even, for example.
Yeah.
It feels like a person took that picture, put their thoughts about it in the description, and that's it.
Yeah.
You're not trying to sell me anything. You're just saying, check this out. It's a beautiful sunset. That's it.
Inspiration is so much about what happens. And, Instagram somewhat is, here's the world as the way I want to see it, not the way I actually see it.
Yeah,
and as
that's
brands,
true.
we have to realize, let's figure out a way to help people see it. And it doesn't all, life isn't fully just about us. It's not fully just about, hey, it's, about selling my product or selling my service, and try to figure out ways to group around that. Now, Instagram this week said, we're playing with ads that are not just pictures, which we've seen, and I have seen very few. They've been very limited on that, and we have not done any ads on this Instagram, and I don't even know if we could jump in. I haven't even inspected that, so we'll look into that. But I did read that they're going to allow videos, or playing with, they are testing videos as ads.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good thing?
I don't see anything wrong with it if they keep the same kind of a feel that they've been going for with just your still pictures. I mean, it's been so almost unnoticeable, so kind of like just going through your stream, and it feels natural, and it just is a part of the experience. I think videos would be the same way. You and I post videos to Instagram, so what's the difference if someone else does?
And if the brand does it well in 15 seconds, and I think what this means, we were saying this earlier in just a pre-discussion this morning when talking about this topic, it gives an opportunity for the small business who can't spend $40,000 doing production of 15 seconds, because that's what, they're spending more than that probably.
Yeah.
Some of these giant brands, even when they're, they have their 6-second buying, yet it costs them 40 grand. They think that's a steal because their 30-second costs them $4 million.
Right.
So we now jump in and say, look, we can create something creative. We can do it on our phones or small webcams and be able to do something that gets into the message stream. And we can pay to elevate it or we can not. And that's what I think. A 15-second Instagram ad done well could be really powerful.
Absolutely.
Because I still think those 15-second pre-rolls on YouTube are some of the most powerful video. I think they're better than what you get
trying to go
TV.
for the 30 seconds, especially over the 30-second ads on YouTube where you can skip it after 5 seconds.
If you do that well and grab their attention and make people want to think about it, there are a lot of those ads that I've seen that have made me go over to their webpage or maybe find something else out or go watch the rest watch the rest of the story. I've done that several times. I think that could happen to Instagram.
Absolutely. Really, really cool opportunity. Hopefully Instagram will add some sort of link feature some point in the future.
Yeah, and have you noticed this? And people are finally getting around this. This is link is in my profile. That's the new thing.
Interesting.
And so you are constantly changing the link in your profile to the direct link of whatever you're trying to promote. So that
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen it. So a business and a brand will go out and be promoting something specific. They'll get that URL, put it directly in their profile, and they'll add that. Because you can add long descriptions and just simply say link is in the profile. Even if you want to link to a YouTube video, I've seen a couple places do this. If you want to link to a YouTube video that's longer, just say link is in the profile. So people are getting around it and smart. And I wished I had thought about that. But it's a unique way to get to that, and because it's still not linkable and you can't get out of it.
Absolutely.
But you can in the profile.
So if you're using Instagram, take that to heart. That's a really excellent practical tip for you just to take with you and think about as you're thinking through your Instagram plan. That's actually really, really neat. I hadn't heard that strategy before, and that's something I'm definitely going to put in the tool belt.
Well, as we finish up this week, any other news before we go to our infographic of the week that you want to cover?
You know what? I think we did a pretty nice job covering both Facebook and Twitter today.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Really, this is all about a conversation. Each week there's all kinds of different stuff. In weeks to come, I want to even talk a little bit about on-the-channel stuff that I think Yahoo is really doing really interestingly with their new collaboration with ComScore. And that was a story that I think is pretty applicable to small business down the road. But we'll leave that for another time. But the infographic of the week. Dustin always brings us a great infographic, and this week it is from Social Media Today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's from Social Media Today. Matthew Kobach, I think is how you pronounce this guy's name, who did it. This is just about as hands-on, take it with you, and use it as soon as you're done watching this show as it gets. You got 10 Facebook rules that every business needs to know before posting to Facebook. As simple as that. Very simple infographic, very clean, very sharp, and we'll throw that up there for you. But there's just 10 tips. They're very simple tips and they're very practical tips that I try to think about every day. But it's a great reminder, especially for small businesses trying to really maximize Facebook. So, like we usually do, I'm going to pick 3, and then you can pick 3, and we'll just go that way. I like number 1 right off the bat. Always keep it positive. There's so much damage that you can do if you get negative on Facebook, especially if you're on a rant or if you're like airing out your dirty laundry on your business page. It could just be a mess. Yeah. So it's really Facebook and Twitter, like you said, is kind of like the world as we want to see it, more or less. Kind of social media, I think, as a whole goes that way. And I think keeping it positive is really powerful, something that can be really useful.
And looking for light that is in darkness sometimes.
Absolutely.
So looking for a positive spin if you see something, and then even how you can help bring some light to it or some levity to it. And not doing it, you can really jump off the cliff there and do something where you can become just rude.
Yeah, levity becomes inconsideration.
Very quickly. But at the same time, when something's happening, if you see something happening, being encouraging to other people, encouraging to other brands, being helpful. Yeah, absolutely. Always keep positive. How about what else? You want me to choose one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll jump in here. And I think really one of the things I notice on Facebook that people I think struggle with is developing a consistent tone.
Yeah.
And that's the number 10. It's the last one mentioned here on the circle when you're looking at the infographic. But a consistent tone simply means how you phrase things, what kind of things you post, what people expect from you, because so much of this algorithm is people wanting to see what you do and clicking that like and making that comment, and then they are going to see you again and not have to come find you. Because if they have to come find you, you're lost.
Yep.
And you're going to end up paying, and even at that, it's still a struggle. We're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
And Facebook's going to keep us jumping because they want our dollars, which is just fine. But if you keep a consistent tone, if people know what they're going to get, if you're always funny, then be funny.
Yeah.
If you're serious, whatever that tone is, be who you are, be your brand, whatever. If you're clothing sales, and you're doing be young about how you do things. And if you don't know how to make that voice and that's who you're targeting, go ask people and correct research. Get out of your store and go down to the local park and talk to people and listen to people and say, hey, how would you talk on Facebook? Or just spend time on Facebook and look at what other public messages are out there and what they're doing and how they're doing it. So I keep a consistent tone. I don't think people realize that they jump around. You're like, oh, this is obvious who Facebook is.
Right.
And hey, this was not the same person that Facebook this yesterday. And you can tell a lot of times in brands.
Absolutely. No, that's a great practical tip. I'm going to go ahead and do number 5. Thank and reward your fans. This is one of my favorites. We had a whole show about thank you on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Saying thank you for people coming to your store. I have a friend who's a car salesman on Facebook. He's using it kind of as a personal / business page. Every time someone buys a car from him, he takes their picture when they buy it, and he shouts out and tags them and becomes their friend on Facebook and just says, hey, thank you so-and-so for coming out and buying your brand new 2013 Dodge Charger or whatever. It was great doing business with you. Who's next? And that's all he says. And it's a great way to say thank you. But I love the reward your fans part. One of my big takes that I think is really a thing that's really powerful on social networks is to be able to create that sense of exclusiveness, that I'm a part of an exclusive core group of people because I follow them on Facebook or I like them on Facebook or follow them on Twitter. Give something away. Give away a $5 gift card. Give away a $10 gift card. Give away a $50 gift card to Amazon. It doesn't even have to do with anything in your store, but just making people really feel like they're getting something special because they're connected to you, and they can get something special. Maybe you're a restaurant and you offer an off-menu food item, nothing that can be found by anybody else except for someone who follows you on Twitter or Facebook, for example. Really, really cool and really powerful to create that exclusivity because that's when people get connected to your brand the strongest.
Yeah, and they become more and more champions when they are excited about. It's not just bribery, though sometimes that works, but it's just the fact that, hey, we value what you're doing, and thanks for telling other people about us, so we're going to reward you. I love watching when people jump in and do something totally random and out of the blue for people on their social media streams. Hey, I'm going to choose 5 people and I'm going to send them money. I've seen brands do that, and so they just go through their stream, send direct message me your address and we're going to send you money today, or we're going to send you a free gift, or tell us what's your favorite product. Oh, by the way, now you get that product. It's that what was it the Canadian airline that did that at Christmas, where they had everybody stand and say, this is what I want, and then they got that when they got to the other end of their flight. What I think enchanting your audience, enchanting your customers, enchanting your pre-customers sometimes means you have to give a little more, and we encourage you to have a social media budget and to spend money on social media, and sometimes some of that budget may not be buying ads, though that's important, and maybe you buy ads for a giveaway, or maybe you buy ads because you're going to do a giveaway, and the more information you collect on that giveaway, there's all kinds of ways you can do it.
Absolutely.
I'll choose another one. You should be posting 5 to 10 times per week. That means nearly once a day, certainly during your business week. You don't need to be posting 1,000 times. So there are all kinds of different strategies here. And I think you have to find the one that meets your tone. And the way that you're getting engagement. If you're getting engagement with every post and you find that you post 5 times a day and you're getting an increasing engagement as you go, that means the audience you have is expecting that, wanting that, are going to keep engaging it. If you find that you're posting 2 times a day and neither of those posts are getting any engagement, then time to switch it up. You just have to balance that and figure out whether you do 5 a week, 10 a week, 3 a day. How do you space them out? Try things. If you're not getting engagement, try something else. If it's not working, don't just keep trying it.
Absolutely.
Don't just keep doing that.
A/B testing. We talk about that a lot. That's something you're a huge fan of. I know that for sure. Try things out and make records of it. I posted at 3 o'clock on Tuesday. That didn't work. I posted at 5 o'clock on Tuesday. All of a sudden, I got 15 likes. Keep records of that kind of stuff. It's really important. I think we can stop at 2 apiece. We'll save the rest of them for them to read.
Yeah, you guys can read it. There are lots of good things. In fact, you can tell us if there's one that we covered that you might want to cover. So tell us what you like.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know what you think.
All right, all this, you can interact with us in so many different ways, and that's what we really want. One, we would love it if you watch this live, so we're going to keep doing that. Watch our Twitter, watch our Facebook. We're doing this through Google Hangouts. We may even eventually say, hey, come join us on a Google Hangout. We're that interested in you coming and interacting with us, whether it's telling us what you want us to talk about, commenting on what we say, telling us when we're wrong, giving us new ideas, whatever those things are. Let's make this a conversation. Let's get better at social media as small businesses. You can interact with me personally at @NKManahan. You can interact with Dustin.
Yep, @Dustin Hickle, also Google+, Dustin Hickle, let's circle up.
And you can interact with Salcha at any of the platforms of @Salcha. And we would love for you to engage with us, have fun. Let's, if you watch Shark Tank, come on Friday nights. We have a live It's a 2-hour episode. I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to watch both hours live, but I'll be definitely tweeting about it. And you know what? If you're on the West Coast, I actually stay up. I'm from the East Coast time, and I stay up. And from 11 o'clock to about 2 a.m. on the Eastern time, I'm still tweeting about Shark Tank.
That's how much we want to hang out with you. So interact with us. Let's keep moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for all that you do. Thanks for watching, and we hope you watch us next time on Informe, a social media conversation.
Okay.
Thanks for all you do. I don't know what that means.
That's what they do. Thanks for what they do.
Yeah.
We appreciate them.
All right.
We can do a really, probably a blip of an intro because we just talked Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then it's like, that's all? Yeah, that's all.
All right, here we go.
We ready? We're doing it.
All right. One camera. Okay. There you go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Informe, a social media conversation for April 30th, 2014. I'm Nate Manahan.
And I'm Dustin Hickle.
Hey, we're going to spend some time talking about Facebook and about Twitter, but we're going to start a conversation on something a little more sensitive. I totally threw you there. I just
sensitive. I have no idea what you're talking about. My bad.
Donald Sterling.
That's right. My bad.
I'm going to start. I'll talk about Don Sterling, then you'll say we'll talk about Twitter and Facebook.
Okay.
All right. How to handle controversy in social media. That's
cool.
What I'd say. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Informe, a social media conversation for April 30th, 2014. I'm Nate Manahan.
And I'm Dustin Hickle.
Hey, today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about how do you handle controversy, how do you handle things that are controversial that are trending on Facebook and Twitter, and what you should do as a small business.
Yeah, we're going to talk about really practical applications for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You better keep watching because this is going to be really good stuff.
All this right here on Informe, a social media conversation. Keep watching.
All right. Okay. Really, for having absolutely no plan going in, that wasn't horrible. JT would have watched that.
And they're currently live streaming. Let's see what they're saying at the FA conference. This is a live stream.
The alerting system that we have, so we're definitely going to continue to look at ways that we can expand.
They just had a keynote of some type. This is after the keynote. So.
And you mentioned that you have a number of platforms that are using
I like
Parse
the
so far.
this is
You
the
have
what
the mobile app.
they do this.